witty, funny, and also the most talked about actor currently, that's Arjun Kapoor. Hello and welcome, Arjun.
Hello, thank you for having me and thank you for that lovely introduction.
It is true, because everyone's talking about you. They're talking about Sandeep or Pinky Faraar, a film that people almost wrote off, and it flew under the radar and
Yeah.
really surprised everyone. So, were you also surprised with the feedback when it came, or did you actually expect it?
No, you see, you always know that you did well. What happens is sometimes it takes time for you to get your due. So what happens is you look at a film and say, "Chalo, aaj nahi, 2, 3, 4 साल बाद कोई ना कोई देखेगा." Like today, when people watch Aurangzeb, they tell me, "Arey, what a good film." Um, so you take it in your stride. When people meet me, they're like, "Arey, we really like Finding Fanny, man. It was such a quirky film, maybe ahead of its times." So I looked at Sandeep or Pinky Farrar and said, "Chalo, it is a film that will get its due over the course of my career." I perhaps let go of an expectation from it because, as Pinky says, expectation nahi rakhni chahiye. Expectation is equal to frustration. So I stopped expecting, and when you least expect, good things happen. And the film doing well, getting this appreciation over the last week has just made me realize that hard work pays off. The Der hai durust hai wali baat hai, but I always believed that there will be a payoff. I just didn't know it would happen in such a big burst of 7 days.
Yeah.
Um,
As soon as it hit OTT, everybody was talking about it, especially it got so much recognition for the kind of gender sensitivity that was shown, the kind of gender norms that the film exposes, and also the kind of
yeah,
toxic masculinity it lays bare without being preachy. It just shows you
correct.
what is.
So the film, I think what's intelligent with Divakar is that he knows how to talk about all that without talking about all of it, and that's pretty much how his films are. They deal with what he wants you to see. He's
Hmm.
like a magician, it's like he uses the film to show you the trick that he wants you to see eventually. So he's quite intelligent. He's a master craftsman. The way he's edited it, the way he's the background score, the way he's used silences, the way he's used characters and their performances, including myself. He knew what he was doing. We were just mere puppets in his hand. And if you read the script versus what you're watching today, there's a huge evolution in that also. So it would be unfair for me as an actor to sit here and say I knew exactly how he would bring it all out. There was a nice mystery to it, and we also enjoyed the journey. But what he wanted to make with me is what he told me is what sucked me in is he wanted to make this great divide of Bharat and India.
Hmm.
And Pinky is Bharat and Sandeep is the new age India. And he said, Abhi Bharat or India, if they're stuck together,
Hmm.
the friction and the chaos and the absolute ideological differences, upbringing, cultural differences, what happens is what Sandeep or Pinky Farrar is all about. Um, and for me, that was interesting enough. I was sucked in. I'm a huge Divakar Banerjee fan, and I chose to do this film to learn his mindset and his psyche. And me and Aditya Chopra had spoken about the fact that we're not doing this film for box office recognition, but to break myself as a performer again and embrace a new side to me, which Divakar has done. So, did I expect it to be such high praise and recognition over the course of these 7 days? No.
Okay.
But that's the kind of director he is. He's been able to tap into people's minds who are sitting at home today watching this film and the gender inequality, the way you perceive patriarchy in our country, all those thoughts which you have maybe experienced in your life, being a working woman today, which I as a man have maybe not ever seen it from a woman's point of view.
Hmm.
Um, Listen, I come from a background where perhaps like there's a scene in the film where Sandeep helps uncle go to the bank and sort all of his out, and she comes back and then she's helping auntie with the knee exercise, and then I come back home and uncle is like,
You're the
"Good
leader.
job."
Yeah,
So
you're the
I'm
leader.
silent leader.
Leader, I remember.
So and I'm
Yeah.
fairly certain that's happened around. You
Yeah.
must be knowing enough stories of situations like that where uncles
Yes,
and aunties don't.
absolutely. I thought that was a great scene. Absolutely. He says,
Yeah.
I know you were the one who made it happen. He just credits Pinky with
So
everything. Yeah.
yeah, so in my environment that's not how it is, but
Okay.
in obviously in most of our country that's how it is. So
Yeah.
I was just excited to see what Dibakar is able to chew and give to the audience, and they've really accepted it. I think credit to our audience. They've caught on to the finer details of the film also.
But it's beautifully written story, and
Yeah.
but you tell me that it's evolved from the script to screen. So did Debakar add something on sets? Was
No,
something?
it's the ulta actually. He's removed a lot of stuff and he's made it what it is.
Oh, all
Um,
right.
When the film, when I signed the film initially, it was very different. So like how Jaideep sir in my scene where I'm sitting with him and having a drink and he tells me, that is how the film started initially. And before that, there was a scene where I'm actually, so Pinky is a guy who's going through his own psychological problems,
Hmm.
and he doesn't want to be where he is. So the film starts with him actually being on the verge of taking his own life.
Oh.
When he gets a call from Jaideep and he says, "Kya kar raha hai Pinky?" And he says, "Kuch nahi sir, party chal rahi doston ke sath." So he can't even accept to his father figure like boss that I'm going through a problem. And the father figure says, "Okay, come for a drink. I have a job for you." And he gets excited, saying, "Okay, there's hope in life for me to live."
Mhm.
And that's how the film initially starts. But he didn't keep all of that, but he kept enough of it. And you can sort of tell that this
Yes.
guy is a drifter who's just drifting through life. And without perhaps underlining certain facets, he was able to explore my performance by making me read through all that stuff, and we edited a lot of stuff on paper, and then we created a backstory that's not there in the film, about Pinky's upbringing, how fond he must have been of dancing, how his father must have told him that girls dance, guys don't dance,
Yeah.
how he must have not been really good at studies, but he saw his father be a certain way with the mother, so there's a certain maturity he has about handling women, but his job has made him a certain way. So if you notice, Pinky apologizes to Sandeep and says, "Sorry, आप पे हाथ उठा इस condition में."
And near the river, I think. Yeah, near the crossing. He says, sorry, मैंने हाथ उठाया था. Yeah.
No, he says it when he's cleaning the car and he's about to leave. He said, "Sorry, इस condition पे आप पे हाथ
Use
उठाया,
condition.
taxi ले लो."
Yes, yes,
And he
yes.
says, "Use head, not heart."
Use head, not heart. Yeah.
So there's a part of him that is saying, he's not saying sorry, आप पे हाथ उठाए. He's saying कि अच्छा आप
Let's
pregnant
say
हो
condition.
इसीलिए.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's on the fence of he's a good guy, but
Yeah.
he's just conditioned to that extent that he's only apologizing because you were pregnant. I raised my hand. I'm sorry.
And even when
Not
he's told he has to kidnap a woman, he says, ladki hai.
ladies.
Ladies, ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can really see that in Pinky. And what also really stood out to me was the fact that when he asks Sandeep, आप ये लोग ये सब करते क्यों, हायर एजुकेशन आपके पास, पैसे हैं आपके पास, तो ये सब क्यों करते हो? And
Yeah.
that was also a very searing moment for you, right? Like it really makes you think. That was a moment that really stood out to me.
So it's, yeah, that is Bharat and India, where
Yeah,
Bharat is standing in front of India. India
yeah,
gets pissed off and says, "You know what? What do you think I am? I'm the bloody showrunner, boss. I'm the one who's pulled off this con, and I've done this and I've done that. And you know how many zeros there are? I'm not some local chamia."
yeah.
India is kind of trying to make a point and survive and say,
And I
boss,
like how
I'm
you
here
call
to say,
back on the local chamia at the end, you know, when,
yeah,
yeah,
which was an improv that we did over readings. But so at that point, India is giving that, and Bharat just turns around and says, "Oh, so we are just a number for you to reach what you want, right?
yeah,
हम तो सिर्फ आंकड़े हैं तुम्हारे लिए,
yeah,
because तुमको तो gold medal मिलता है, education मिलती है, सब कुछ मिलता है." And to a great degree, I can understand the angst of a common man with the privilege because of that, because the privileged do tend to not realize how much advantage they have
yeah,
and how much advantage they knowingly and unknowingly take. And I think somewhere the common man does feel aggrieved about the fact that there is a certain class divide that is just getting more and more because the people up there
yeah,
have stopped caring about the consequences of people down there. That class divide, more than anything else, the emotional connect is going away. So that moment in the scene is pretty much him just asking. It's like भारत इंडिया से पूछ रहा है कि आपको तो फर्क नहीं पड़ता ना, हम तो सिर्फ नंबर है आपके. And listen, I come from an upbringing where I have been very well taken care of. I dare I say that I have not had any privilege in life. I've been in a very, very secure place in life. I've had my own ups and downs, but I think the empathy that you need to have with people in the world and in your own community, I think somewhere that gets lost in our country very easily, because we
there's
are
so
a
many
country
people, of so
and we are
many people. Yeah,
and everybody's in a hurry to do better
yeah,
than the other, and
yeah,
everybody wants to use each other and outdo each other, and somewhere that scene is a stark reminder of we are all like ants just trying to crawl upwards. Um, and Pinky is perhaps one of the affected class.
yeah, yeah.
For just being a good guy, he's good guys finish last. That's the frustration that he also has, and that local chamia bit gets used in the end, because
At the end, yeah,
I remember Dibakar sir and me were talking about it, that if things have to fall into place, it shouldn't be for just being a local chamia in the sense being somebody's mistress. It should be far more than that. So don't get caught up in the personal vendetta.
Yeah.
The agenda is far bigger in life for you if you're going to go back to things. Yeah.
And it's such a well thought out and well said story. And another moment that stood out to me similarly was when he looks at you, you know, his son, and he looks at you and says, "मुझे पता था कि आप special हो. मुझे पहले से ही पता था कि आप special हो." When you're all eating and the pati,
Huh.
yeah, he
Yeah,
says,
yeah, yeah.
"Oh."
Yeah.
That was a very cute scene as well. So a lot of like throwaway lines, but you know, they kind of really stay with you even after you
Yeah,
watch the film and you keep going over it. And I also definitely think there is this equation, working equation between you and Pariniti that
of
translates
course.
so beautifully on screen. You know, right from Ishak Zadeh, you guys had great chemistry on screen. And chemistry, as I mean, as you know, actors who really play off each
Yeah,
other's energies. And there's a kind of honesty the two of you bring to your performance when you're
correct.
each other, and a sense of comfort as well that I can tell. Is that true?
So I think Ishak Zadeh prepared us for Sandeep or Pinky Faraar, if I may say so. But yeah, there is a sense of comfort, there's a sense of honesty, there's a sense of we are able to look into each other's eyes and know what each other's thinking, and we don't really need to hide much. We can actually be straight up with each other. Of course, when you do your first film, there is a certain ease and comfort that just develops, and we've been fortunate that our first film had so much of physical connect, that there is no, I mean, from making out to slapping each other to holding each other to running to injuries and action and dance, and we did the whole 360 degree to become a pair in that sense. We spent enough time in physical proximity. So the when you do that kind of work with somebody and that person, and you have mutual respect for each other, our friendship came in handy to be able to handle the taskmaster that Dibakar is actually. So in a way, we both were able to use each other's strengths to be able to play off each other and perform for this film, because Dibakar is a very tough director in that sense. He expects the best. He'll break you to remake you. He loves going into the details. He likes the in betweens. And for that, you need patience. You need to have trust in your partner that in a scene where you are breaking and you are entering with 100% honesty, you have another person over there who's giving maybe more than you, which pushes you to do better. So, if you're liking Pinky, it is credit to Sandeep, and if you're liking Sandeep, it is credit to Pinky. I think any other pair, perhaps the tension wouldn't be as palpable between two people, perhaps.
Yeah, and I think definitely that's a big chunk, and also the ensemble cast, oh, be it Raghuveer Yadav, who just excels,
Yeah,
outdoes himself every time. Then you have Neena Gupta, of course, you have Jaideep Alawat, and you know, especially when you're playing off such great energies, I think it must have been a good time to be on set.
it was. I met Jaideep sir in Bombay. We did one day of readings for the scenes, and that time Patal Lok had not come out.
Oh.
He had not even shot for because we shot this film in 2018, and he was such an exciting actor because he's from that part where Pinky's supposed to be from. He's that from that part. He's from Haryana. He is somebody who would, and I was only concerned that he shouldn't feel that my dialect is a put on.
Yeah.
And I remember asking him, and Dibakar also asked him, "What do you feel?" And he was really happy about it, because those are the things that matter. So when you have a co-actor like Jaideep,
Mm.
you want to use his expertise as well, right?
Mm.
So it was great fun, that 1 day workshop, and then we shot for a day or two in Delhi. Um, Raghuveer sir is just a riot to work with. He would just only be fooling around and singing and dancing in the middle of shots and all. He just enjoys himself. He's like a funkar admi hai. He's not interested in the success, failure, kya hoga ye. He's just having a blast. And Neena ji, to now I have a great equation. That time I didn't really have too much of work with her, but it was just nice to know that the director is pairing you as Sandeep or Vinky with the right actors around to make sure that those characters come alive. The boy who played Munna, so Rahul, he's so good. There are so many small. I mean, the boy who's in the first shot, Tarun.
Hmm.
I have to give credit to him. The
That was
boy who's talking,
excellent.
he
Yeah.
is my dialect coach.
Oh, he's your dialect coach. All right.
Yeah, he used to come and be with me and Divakar for a whole month in Bombay. We used to sit together and just talk. So that boy that you see that eventually gets laughing, he says, "Ha, main Pinky hu," and then the shot that shocks you. That boy has actually worked his ass off to make sure that I become Pinky.
Wow, fantastic. And
Yeah,
your dialect, you know, you're a strong silent man in the film. I think you got your dialect pretty spot on. But
thank you.
And but let's talk about your name in the film. It's Pinky, a mainstream hero playing Pinky. In fact, one of my cousins, it was also like his name is Pinky in the film. She asked me. It didn't occur to me, and I was like, oh, actually, yes, his name is Pinky in the film. So,
Yeah,
how was it for you? Was it like, were you just okay with it right off the bat, or even were you like, hold on, my name is Pinky?
that's what drew me in.
Okay.
Because that's what attracted me to the film. Without knowing the film, I was attracted because the title was Sandeep or Pinky Faraar, and then Divakar said, "You are Pinky and she's Sandeep," and I said, "I'm interested." And that's so. If it catches your fancy, if you want answers, any title that makes you question and want to know more is a good title. And then any character that has a name that leads to more questions and mystery
Yeah.
and wonderment, and for that you want to follow his journey, you that's a good bit to add. And I had no issue of my masculinity has nothing to do with the name.
Okay.
Uh, in my personal space and even in Pinky's space, he is Satendra Daya, but he's called Pinky because his mother calls him Pinky, and we had a backstory behind why he's called Pinky. Um, but I guess when you're a person who's done a film like Kiyanka, it's not something
Yeah.
that even crosses your mind, So
Yeah. I know,
it never really
you're a very
bothered me.
woke, I know you're a woke, aware actor, Arjun, but that's why I wanted to know, even an actor like you, are there any hesitations when it comes to a name like that? But good to know there isn't.
No, not for the name. I mean, I when I was narrated the climax, I was like, okay, this we have to do
Oh,
really well
okay.
because it shouldn't become something that we miss an opportunity and become caricaturist. And I'm so
Be
proud.
guilty or anything, but
Yeah,
it,
and I'm
yeah.
so proud of for the entire team, the people who did my makeup, the way Debakar planned it, the guys who danced with me, who taught me, the way I'm presented. He's given so much in regard and respect to the fluidity of gender.
Yeah.
And as a so-called male hero
Yeah.
who's testosterone driven doing action and ladki ko bacha raha hai aur naach gana kar raha hai, that chichora hero, if I am able to give dignity to gender fluidity by doing it right,
Hmm.
I will take that as something that I've achieved as an actor when very few would have imagined that I'm capable of. So it's a personal victory,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to say that I'm the torchbearer of change, but I feel it breaks perceptions, and a lot of people would perceive me as somebody who can't do that because of the fact that I have this scruffy beard and I'm apparently this guy because I'm a broad-built Punjabi. Um, it gives me tremendous pride that a man like Divakar saw me in that, and me, well, I was able to fulfill that, and the camera captured it, and it connected with my audience.
And there was so
Because
much
at the end of the
conviction, if I may say so.
yeah,
There was a lot of conviction. There's a shot, there's a close up of your eye, and right then, the conviction shines through, and
yeah.
somewhere the earnestness also comes through, Arjun.
So I'm glad, and there are enough naysayers in this industry who try and create a certain perception of you. But I'm so happy that your talent shines through at a time like this because
You
today,
must feel validated. All this praise, you must, feel validated for.
yes, because I know my capability. I've never doubted it. Even when I sit across you in an interview or anybody else, or even when I go to work, I know what my capabilities are. We all have phases where we do good work and bad work. Some films pan out, some don't. We aren't alone when we make films. There are enough people involved. So today, when I talk about this film, I don't take credit alone. Debakar Banerjee is the big reason why the film is being liked by you. I'm one of the actors. There are other actors. So when I say Sandeep is Pinky and Pinky Sandeep, that is me sharing credit. The same way when things don't pan out, it's not Arjun Kapoor alone who is doing a bad job or is not able to see things through. We do not set out, I would like to believe, at least I don't set out to make films that are bad
Hmm.
and that are flops. Along the way, lots of things happen in the process of making a film. From the writing can be great, but sometimes the execution is not. Sometimes the execution is good, but the way it's positioned is not. I've had enough examples in my career of a lot of things don't align always at the right time. So, like Sandeep or Pinky, also for a while nobody knew about it. It
Yeah.
came in theaters and went away. But hard work pays, and that's why the validation is that this audience, the pure audience, I'm not talking about the biased audience. I'm
Hmm.
talking about there's a purity in the audience that judges films and that judges performance and is eventually not crowded or clouded, sorry, by the judgment and opinions created, especially in the last couple of years where I'm concerned. Just where it's all become become a little casual about perceiving a person. So I'm glad that this film comes at a time where I can validate my performance and my credibility as an actor. And I'm glad people are liking it.
Well, I'm glad that happened for you, Arjun, and I personally loved the film. And I could
Thank you.
keep discussing it for some more time, but I'll let you go because I know you're in high demand today. Thank you so much for joining me. Always a pleasure to connect with you.
Thank you so much.
And keep rocking that good hair day, Arjun.
Yes, that's the
Keep
plan.
rocking it.